All right, what is up, everyone? Hope you all are staying safe out there. As always, welcome back to the Revin Trading channel. It is a nice day here in cryptocurrency land, the first run of the year to the upside, and it's been quite a while since we've had some good news. So that is great to see. We have in front of me is the new indicator, the BBAI Max Plus. This indicator will work on basically any time frame, any asset. It does need a bit more work, so I am slowly getting the updates done on this. It's a little bit overcomplicated now, so I'm going to simplify it a bit, but this indicator will be the ultimate indicator, I hope. That is a plan, and that is what it's looking like so far. So a few people do have access to this if you are a part of the master builders or the OG, and you have the complete or the gold bundle. You should have this indicator right now, and I will be adding the rest of y'all soon enough. But it is in a really nice trade from 91K that entered on January 13th, so just the other day, and is massively up now. Would that be like 5+%? Yeah, 5.5%. So pretty nice trade. Most likely I'm assuming it'll probably close here pretty soon, we hope. But yeah, the equity curve on this looks pretty great overall. Obviously some bumps in the road, but generally it is at all-time highs, which that is good news, because that was a bit of a struggle for some of the strategies. There's been they've been going sideways for quite a while, and so I wanted to work on one that not only worked for long term, but also was currently still making gains, and you can see here it is forward testing quite well. So watch for this. Also has some nice little visual here, updates here, where it looks just a little bit cooler. So yeah, all these things coming. Let's kind of go through and look at a few strategies here. We had a 2 hours RMO strategies not doing anything. Unfortunately, it just barely had a cross to the downside and exited the trade right before this massive run up. So this strategy would be in massive profit as well, but we did have that exit. So unfortunate that one missed it. But 2 hours momentum is about to turn down finally. It is 12 bars over your average cross, and that was only, it would be like 30 plus bars over your average cross if it wasn't for this really quick down turn right there. So momentum is probably gonna kind of cool down here a little bit, at least for a short term, but on the long term it's starting to turn up. So let's look at this. Is the 12-hour strategy actually has entered a trade here at 95K. So that this strategy, or this specific strategy, may end up being underwater for a little bit if momentum does cool off, but it is turning up to the upside again here pretty strong. We'll see how long that lasts. The daily time frame, actually let's look at the 4 hour, then we're going to look at the daily. This one I posted about in the Discord briefly, but for those who have the Revin ribbons, this has been playing out just super well here. Both having tests into the dotted midline and kind of doing a little bit of range playing there. Finally, it closed above the dotted midline. So if you're doing a really conservative strategy here for trending, you would have entered right here at 93.3K, and you could have taken profit at this midline right here, which is about 95K, and then held it for as long as you want until there's plenty of ways to manage this. You can wait for it to close back below here. So currently that's still at about 95K area, or you can just hold it and take profit at a few different points along the way. There's a few ways to take profit off of the momentum oscillator. You could take it off of a cross down or a extreme spike, though the extreme spikes kind of happened around 95.7K. And again here at 96.7K. So it looks like the 4 hour momentum will cross down as well here. I do want to look at the daily time frame real fast. Here we go. Daily time frame actually following this LARP line here perfectly. It went sideways for a little bit and finally turned to the upside. We did have a closure. I think I posted about this as well in the Discord. We did have a very, very slight, like minuscule closure above this dotted resistance midline. I should just call it the dotted resistance line. We did have a closure above that yesterday, which means trending move in motion. However, a lot of times these are or can be fake outs. So what I will, if I am playing this trending on the daily time frame, what I will do would be enter a trade here and have a pretty tight stop loss below if it closes below the support 1 band. And we can look in past times where this has happened, and you can use it to manage risk. Like right here, okay, yeah. So right here, it barely closed above it. It did not close below it, so it was a success. And you could take profit up here. You could take profit, waiting a few bars or however you choose to do that. And then it finally did close below that. So this would be a definite exit for me right here. In the past, let's find a failure. Here's a failure where it closed above it, and then immediately closed below that resistance 1 band. So that would be a losing trade, and you'd exit your trade on a closure right here. So enter right there, exit right there. However, if you have your slope arrows on down here, where is this at? Here is confluence slope flags. Those will generally tell you where tops and bottoms are starting to form. So if I would have seen that, I probably would have been hesitant to get in a trade right there to begin with. But still, worst case scenario, it's you have just a couple % loss right there. That would be about 3% loss, which is manageable. Any other times in the past where it was so here was a success where it stayed above that line. So enter upon there, and oftentimes it does still test that support or resistance 1 band, and we can see here recently if we jump forward, it did that as well. It touched that resistance 1 band and then went on from there. So another way to, I guess, manage risk is if it barely closes above, wait for the test into the resistance 1 band and enter there. So your stop loss would be just close below it, which would be a lot less. So many ways of playing this, but we do see on the daily time frame momentum is turned to the upside, close above 90,700 to cross momentum to the downside. So it's a little ways away from that right now. We have our short-term target up at 100K. So things are generally on a daily time frame pointed up. I can look at a 2-day time frame. I don't know if it'll be too much different here. 2-day time frame actually is very interesting because it's been the RMO has been up since way back here. So this is kind of nicely in profit. It turned up at 90K, and then had some sideways there. And again, you can scale in if you want to scale in and wait for closures or wait for the RMO to cross down to exit the trade. You could get in some better entries right there. So the 2 days looking pretty good here. Momentum still to the upside. We have not closed above our dotted resistance on the 2-day. So it'll be interesting to see if that happens or not. 5-day, I'm assuming our momentum is to the upside. Yeah, 5-day momentum is to the upside as well. And we're just now testing our midline on the 5-day. So it'll be interesting to see if it closes above that. Kind of am hesitant to assume it will, because a lot of times there'll be a little bit of resistance right there. So yeah, if it does though, then that means even more pressure to the upside. And this has a short-term target of 105K. I don't know how much I trust that. It's only 64%, so not super high. But we do have, it says hitting resistance 1 is a 47% chance on the RMO, which is 111K. I'm not so sure that it's gonna get there, but it did hit our first target that was 80%. So this RMO, the new update to the RMO, is super useful. You can immediately see on the bands the probabilities of it hitting different band levels. So it turned up right here. That would have been a nice little trade, just a few percent probably. There's my tool right there. Just I guess 4%, not bad. I probably long term will actually add another couple bands here in between the midline and the support and resistance 1, because there are plenty of levels in between. It's right now currently the midline to resistance 1 is 15%. So for times when the targets are really far apart, I'm going to find a way to to add a few more targets in here, so we get a little bit more little more places to take profit, both on short and longs. Because when the resistance band is so far away, it's just, you know, pretty not highly unlikely. It's almost a 50% chance, but still, it's not a. There's probably some more levels in here that would be better take profit levels. Anyway, all right. I guess I will look at the 10-day time frame here real fast, and we'll wrap it up. I wanted to look at my new additions to the ribbons, but I don't have those loaded yet. I am working on, so for owners or people that are interested in the ribbons, I am, oh, hey, look, there we go. We just had our daily closure above that, another daily closure above that dotted midline right there. So looking good, still trending so far. And again, closure above 95K would make me a little bit hesitant on trending, and then any closure below 92K, that's we're going down a little bit from there. So, okay, I was saying, yeah, I have some major updates coming to the Revin ribbons here, where you can use other indicators in conjunction with them, and yeah, just have some really cool probability tables and stuff based off of that. So those things are coming here in the next couple weeks, and probably some strategies with all that. So fun stuff ahead. Let's look at the 10-day and then we'll wrap it up. 10-day time frame. Literally only looking at this because I like that it's actually working with my LARP line right there. It's working quite well, and we have our midline coming in at 103K. If we see this LARP line play out perfectly, we'll hit around 110K before we turn back down. None of this is obviously set in stone. This is just my general thought. But we do have our 10-day time frame about to turn to the upside if we close above 96K. Sorry, not 96K, 93K in the next 6 days. So that'll be really interesting to see if we continue momentum up from here. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, because if momentum on the 10-day time frame does turn up, then 110K wouldn't be out of the question, or even higher. But the monthly time frame again is just heavily crossed to the downside, and our midline on the monthly time frame is 102K. So if we close above that this month, if we close above 102K, my bias will slightly turn around just for the short term, because our momentum was to be to the downside, but our ribbons will at least have one thing going in our favor on the monthly time frame, where we can maybe call it a little more bullish bias there. So, all right, that is it from me today. If you guys have any thoughts or questions, let me know. I'm always around, and I hope you guys stay safe. See you next video.